Ashanti screamed and ran. She ran faster than she had ever run in her life. Her shawl fell off, but she didn't stop. She jumped over roots and pushed past branches. The lion roared loudly behind her. It was chasing her. She saw the lights of her village ahead. She cried out, "Mama, Papa, open the door!" She was almost home, but the lion was right behind her. "The lion is coming! Open the door! I don't want to die!" Her voice was full of fear now. She was not the proud and stubborn girl anymore. She was shaking, crying, and begging. Ashanti was a beautiful young girl who lived in a small African village called Eziama. The village was surrounded by thick forests and tall trees. The people in Eziama were peaceful and hardworking. They lived simple lives, farming during the day and telling stories around fires at night. Everyone knew each other in the village. It was a place where respect for elders was very important. But Ashanti was different from other girls in the village. She lived with her mother and father in a small mud house near the edge of the village. Her parents were kind and loving, but Ashanti was rude and stubborn. She never listened to them. Even when they warned her about something dangerous, she would do the opposite. Her parents tried many times to correct her, but Ashanti always ignored their advice. Every morning, her mother would ask her to help with chores, like sweeping the compound or fetching water from the stream. But Ashanti would frown and say, "Why should I do it? Let someone else go." She would rather sit under the mango tree and play with her beads or admire herself in a mirror. The villagers noticed her behavior and often shook their heads. They would say, "That girl will bring trouble one day." Her father, a wise old man named Okoro, tried to talk to her with love. He would say, "My daughter, the world is not a place to be careless. Respect your elders and obey your parents. One day you will understand." But Ashanti would roll her eyes and walk away. She thought she knew everything and believed her parents were just too old to understand her. What no one knew was that trouble was already on its way. One evening, as the sun was setting and the sky turned orange, Ashanti's father gathered her and her mother outside the house. He had a serious look on his face. "Ashanti," he said, "from today, no one must go out of the village after dark. The hunters say they saw lion tracks near the forest. The lions are hungry. They may come into the village." Ashanti laughed. "A lion? In our village? That's a story for small children. I'm not afraid of any lion," she said with pride. Her mother held her hand. "My daughter, please listen. We are not trying to scare you. The forest is dangerous at night, especially now. You must not go out. Stay safe and stay inside." But Ashanti was not listening. Her mind was somewhere else. She was thinking about her boyfriend, Jomo, who lived in the next village across the forest. Jomo was tall, strong, and charming. He had told Ashanti to visit him soon. That evening, she had already planned to go see him after her parents slept. She had no intention of obeying the warning. That night after supper, her father locked the door and reminded everyone again, "No one must open this door until morning. If you hear anything outside, do not come out. It might not be what you think." Ashanti nodded quietly, pretending to agree, but deep inside she had already made up her mind. "They worry too much," she whispered to herself as she lay on her mat. "Jomo is waiting for me. I'll go and be back before they even notice." The moon was rising, the village dogs barked in the distance, but Ashanti didn't care. Danger was moving through the forest, but Ashanti's heart was filled with excitement, not fear. As midnight came, the whole village was silent. Everyone was fast asleep. The crickets chirped loudly, and the wind rustled the trees. Ashanti opened her eyes. She listened carefully to make sure her parents were sleeping. Slowly, she got up from her mat and tiptoed to the door. She had hidden the spare key under a clay pot earlier that day. She quietly took it, unlocked the door, and stepped outside. The night air was cold, and the moonlight lit her path. She wrapped her shawl around her shoulders and began walking toward the forest. The path to the next village was narrow and dark. Owls hooted from the trees, and bats flew across the sky. Ashanti's heart beat fast, but she forced herself to walk on. "I must reach Jomo before it gets too late," she whispered. "He will be happy to see me." The forest was alive with sounds. Twigs snapped, bushes moved, and shadows danced. Still, Ashanti did not turn back. She was too proud to admit she was afraid. She kept walking, even when she heard a distant growl behind the trees. She told herself it was just her imagination. Finally, after almost an hour, she reached Jomo's village. He was surprised to see her. "Ashante, "What are you doing here at this hour? It's dangerous," he said. But Ashanti only smiled. "I missed you," she replied. "I wanted to see you." Jomo looked around nervously. "You shouldn't have come," he said. "You must go back early. The lions have been coming close to the forest." Ashanti only laughed. "I'll be fine," she said proudly. "I can run faster than a lion." If only she knew how wrong she was. After spending some time with Jomo, Ashanti began to feel tired. "I must go now," she said, standing up. Jomo held her hand. "Please stay till morning," he begged. "It's not safe out there." But Ashanti shook her head. "If I don't return before my parents wake up, they will know I sneaked out," she said. "I must go." Jomo looked worried. "At least take a stick, or let me walk with you." "No need," Ashanti said proudly. "I've walked this path many times. I'll be fine." She smiled, kissed his cheek, and disappeared into the night. The path through the forest was even darker now. The wind had grown stronger. Strange sounds came from the trees. Ashanti hugged herself tightly, walking faster. Her feet made soft noises on the forest ground. The trees swayed and leaves rustled above her head. Suddenly, she heard something. A low growl, deep and loud. She froze. Her heart pounded. "What was that?" she whispered. The growl came again, this time closer. Her hands began to shake. "It's just a dog. Maybe," she told herself, trying to stay calm. But when she looked back, her eyes caught a large shadow moving between the trees. It had glowing yellow eyes. It was not a dog. It was a lion, a very big and hungry lion. Ashanti screamed and ran. She ran faster than she had ever run in her life. Her shawl fell off, but she didn't stop. She jumped over roots and pushed past branches. The lion roared loudly behind her. It was chasing her. She saw the lights of her village ahead. She cried out, "Mama, Papa, open the door!" She was almost home, but the lion was right behind her. Ashanti reached the front of her house. She banged on the wooden door with all her strength. "Mama, Papa, please open the door, please!" she screamed. Inside, her parents woke up in shock. "Who is that?" her mother asked, sitting up. "It's Ashanti," her father said, running to the door. But the door had been locked tightly, and the key was not nearby. Ashanti kept screaming, "The lion is coming! Open the door! I don't want to die!" Her voice was full of fear now. She was not the proud and stubborn girl anymore. She was shaking, crying, and begging. "Please, please, Papa, please, Mama, help me!" Behind her, the lion growled. Its heavy paws hit the ground as it stepped closer and closer. Ashanti turned and saw the lion's glowing eyes. She screamed louder and beat the door with both hands. Inside, her father struggled with the key. "Where is it? Where is the key?" he cried. Her mother was praying loudly. "God, save my daughter, please." But it was too late. Before the door could open, the lion jumped. Its sharp teeth and claws tore into Ashanti. Her screams turned into silence. Blood covered the doorstep. The lion devoured her in front of the house, the same house where her parents had warned her to stay safe. Her mother opened the door just in time to see the lion dragging her daughter's lifeless body away into the darkness. She screamed and fainted. Her father stood frozen, tears running down his cheeks. The village dogs barked wildly. People began to come out of their homes. But Ashanti was gone. The forest had claimed her, all because she would not listen. The whole village woke up that night. People came out of their houses with lanterns and sticks. They followed the cries and barking dogs to Ashanti's home. When they saw the blood on the ground, many covered their mouths in shock. Some women began to cry. "Is it true?" one asked. "Was it the lion?" Ashanti's mother sat on the ground, weeping loudly. Her wrapper was soaked with tears. "My daughter, my only daughter," she cried. Her father, Okoro, stood beside her, holding his head. We warned her many times," he whispered. The village chief arrived with some hunters. They saw the lion's footprints and the pieces of Ashanti's shawl. One of the hunters shook his head. "This lion was big and strong," he said. "She didn't stand a chance." The chief looked at everyone and said in a loud voice, "Let this be a lesson. We must never take warnings lightly. The forest is not a friend at night, and we must listen to our elders." Everyone nodded. The villagers helped carry Ashanti's mother into the house. She refused to eat or drink. Her wailing continued through the night. Children in the village were frightened. Their parents told them, "This is what happens when you don't listen. You must obey. You must respect." That night, no one slept peacefully. The wind blew softly through the trees. Somewhere deep in the forest, the lion roared again. Ashanti was gone. Her story was already beginning to spread like wildfire. The next morning, the village was silent. Ashanti's home was filled with mourners. Women came with mats and wrappers to sit with her mother. They cried with her, held her hands, and sang soft songs of sorrow. Her father sat alone outside the house, staring at the forest. His face was tired, his eyes were red. "I should have done more," he said to himself. "I should have locked the door tighter. I should have watched her more closely." But deep in his heart, he knew the truth. Ashanti had made her choice. Ashanti's mother, Ibile, refused to eat. She lay on the mat, holding her daughter's wrapper to her chest. "She was still my child," she whispered. "Even with her bad ways, she was mine." The villagers brought food, water, and comfort. One old woman said, "Do not blame yourself. Children of today have strong heads. They think they know more than their parents." Another added, "Your daughter was warned. She made her choice. You did your part." The village elders came later that day to speak with the family. They agreed to hold a burial, even though there was no body to bury. "Let us honor her," the chief said. "Let this be a message to all our young ones." A small wooden sign was placed in front of the house. It read, "Here lived Ashanti, let her story teach others." 3 days after Ashante's death, the village chief sent a group of strong hunters into the forest. They were led by an old hunter named Baba Odu, who had once killed a lion with only a spear. "We must find the beast," he said. "It must not take another life." The hunters carried sharp spears, bows, and arrows. They wore charms made by the village herbalist for protection. Drums were beaten as they left the village, and the people watched in silence. Some prayed for their safe return. Deep into the forest they went, following the lion's tracks. Baba Odu knelt often to examine the prints. "It's big," he said, "and smart. This lion knows these woods better than we do." For hours they searched. They found broken branches, claw marks on tree trunks, and a large pool of blood where the lion had eaten its prey. Ashante. "This is where it happened," whispered one of the hunters. They moved carefully, watching and listening. The forest was quiet, too quiet. Birds stopped singing. The wind stopped blowing. Baba Odu raised his hand. "It's near," he said. Suddenly, a loud roar filled the air. The lion leapt from behind the bushes, its mouth wide open. The hunters jumped back. Spears flew through the air. The lion roared in pain as a spear struck its leg. It turned and disappeared into the trees. "We must follow it," shouted Baba Odu. They chased the lion for miles, but it vanished into the deeper forest. That night, the hunters returned, tired but alive. They had wounded the beast, but it was still alive. The villagers were relieved to see them, but also afraid. "Will it come back?" they asked. No one could answer for sure. Life in Edziama slowly began to move on, but things were not the same. The laughter of children was softer. The evenings were quieter. People walked in groups, afraid to be alone. The lion's roar still haunted the village. Ashante's name was still on everyone's lips. Some told her story like a cautionary tale. "If you don't listen, you'll end up like Ashante," parents warned their children. Her story became a lesson in every home. Even though Ashante's spirit was now at peace, one problem remained: the lion. The villagers still lived in fear of the beast. It had not attacked again, but its presence could still be felt. Chickens went missing. The hunters heard roars at night. They knew the lion was still in the forest, licking its wounds, waiting. The chief called Baba Odu again. "This time we must finish what we started," he said. "The lion must not harm anyone else." Baba Odu gathered a team of the strongest hunters. They prayed at the shrine and rubbed war paint on their faces. The villagers gave them food, charms, and blessings. Then they entered the forest once more. The lion was not hard to find. It had made a den near a cave close to the river. When it saw the hunters, it roared. The sound shook the ground. But this time, the hunters were ready. Arrows flew through the air. Spears struck the trees. The lion charged, but Baba Odu stood firm. With a mighty shout, he threw his spear straight into the lion's chest. The beast let out one final roar, long, loud, and painful. Then it fell. The hunters danced around the lion's body. They sang songs of bravery. Ashante has been avenged, Baba Odu said. They returned to the village as heroes. The lion's tail was placed in the village square as a sign of victory. The people cheered, clapped, and sang. And that night, for the first time in many weeks, Eziyama slept in peace. No fear, no sorrow. Just stars shining over a village that had learned the value of listening, love, and forgiveness. With the lion gone and Ashante's spirit laid to rest, the village slowly returned to normal. Children began to laugh again. People walked freely in the evenings. The bell in the village square still rang at nightfall, but now it was a reminder of safety, not fear. Years passed, but Abele, Ashante's mother, never forgot her daughter. Even as her hair turned gray and her steps slowed, she remained strong and loving. People respected her not only for her pain, but for how she turned that pain into purpose. She started speaking to young girls in the village. "Do not think beauty is everything," she would say. "Do not think your parents are old and foolish. We see danger before you do." Many girls listened. They called her Mama Ashante and loved her like a second mother. She taught them how to cook, how to care for the home, and how to speak with respect. "Kindness will protect you more than makeup," she often said. "Obedience will open more doors than charm." And in the hearts of the people, Ashante lived on. Not as the girl who died, but as the girl who taught them to live. In the end, she became more than a story. She became a voice, a warning, a legacy. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your favorite part. Stay tuned for more magical African stories from Magical African Tales, where every truth has a lesson.